Donald Trump was not the only president of the United States or former president, somebody to hold the office of president to address the nation or to present opinions on anything. Barack Obama endorsed Joe Biden yesterday. We'll talk about the timing of that and more with Tiana Lowe in the next segment. But I want to hit at a couple of points because what I saw last night in Obama's speech was the same kind of sanctimonious, self-righteous language that Barack Obama, in my view, has always been known for. Let's go to cut 4 here. This is Barack Obama blasting the Republican Party.
Because one thing everybody has learned by now is that the Republicans occupying the White House and running the U.S. Senate are not interested in progress. They're interested in power. They've shown themselves willing to kick millions off their health insurance and eliminate pre-existing condition protections for millions more, even in the middle of this public health crisis, even as they're willing to spend $1 trillion on tax cuts for the wealthy. They've given polluters unlimited power to poison our air and our water and denied the science of climate change, just as they denied the science of pandemics. Repeatedly, they've disregarded American principles of rule of law and voting rights and transparency, basic norms that previous administrations observed regardless of party, principles that are the bedrock of our democracy. So our country's future hangs on this election.
That was Barack Obama acting like the end of the world will come if Donald Trump is reelected, but also saying Republicans denied the science of pandemics, which is a blatantly partisan and political line from a president who I thought was going to seem like he's going above the fray and that's what he was going to do, is help paint Joe Biden as somebody who's not going to just play political games, and that Barack Obama is going to come in there and he's going to speak the truth, but he's not going to malign the other side. And I don't just mean malign President Trump, but malign the other side. But he did exactly that. And then one more clip I want to react to is cut 5. This is former President Barack Obama talking a little bit about propaganda network of Fox News and about what matters.
The other side has a massive war chest. The other side has a propaganda network with little regard for the truth. On the other hand, pandemics have a way of cutting through a lot of noise and spin to remind us of what is real and what is important. This crisis has reminded us that government matters. It's reminded us that good government matters, that facts and science matter, that the rule of law matters, that having leaders who are informed and honest and seek to bring
matters. That's the talking point that we're hearing from many on the left day in and day out, has been this idea: facts matter, this matters, truth matters, that matters. And notice how everything that matters, they have a monopoly on. Barack Obama, who was all-knowing and all-powerful when he was head of the federal government, Barack Obama knows what matters. And if you disagree with him, you disagree with what matters. His interpretation of the truth, his interpretation of the facts. If you disagree with that, you don't get what matters. You're not for what matters. And the notion of Fox News, which is what he was alluding to as a propaganda network, Fox is not a new enemy to Barack Obama. Beckett Adams at the Washington Examiner in September of 2018 had a very interesting commentary writing the following about President Obama and the way in which he approached the media, specifically Fox News. When it comes to being anti-media, Trump only talks a big game, and boy, does he talk. Obama, on the other hand, is a man of action. As president, he did much more than complain about Fox News. His administration spent 8 years long curbing the press freedoms of journalists of every stripe. Obama was a pro at this. In 2009, for example, the Obama White House intentionally excluded Fox News' Chris Wallace from participating in a round of interviews pertaining to the president's push for health care reform. Later that same year, the administration officials tried to block Fox reporters from interviewing pay czar Kenneth Feinberg. The White House initially lied about this, and many in the press went along with it. It wasn't until 2011 that the public learned the truth about the Feinberg episode. An internal email dated October 22, 2009, showed the White House Director of Broadcast Media told Treasury officials specifically, "We'd prefer if you skip Fox, please." The Obama White House Communications Director, Anita Dunn, said at the time, "We're going to treat them the way we would treat an opponent. As they are undertaking a war against Barack Obama and the White House, we don't need to pretend that this is the way that legitimate news organizations behave." And this is the most striking one, as Beckett Adams writes in the Washington Examiner in 2018. In 2010, the Obama administration renewed the bogus Bush-era subpoena against the New York Times' James Risen in a prolonged attempt to determine whether the reporter was the recipient of leaked CIA information. And in February 2011, federal investigators were revealed to have spied on Risen. Federal investigators pored over Risen's credit reports and his personal bank records. The feds even tracked his phone logs and movements. We saw James Rosen of the Fox News Channel in 2013 investigated by the Obama Justice Department, which labeled him a criminal co-conspirator under the Espionage Act of 1917. I could go on here, but particularly Fox News, as well as some other media opponents, Barack Obama actually used some teeth, whereas Donald Trump just speaks words and does it occasionally in a rude way. I will say that. But he hasn't done the kinds of things that Barack Obama and his administration did, spying on opponents, labeling them co-conspirators, and those opponents were just people in the media. So of course he believes Fox News is a propaganda outlet because Fox News gave a voice to his opposition for 8 years. And of course he's not going to acknowledge that CNN, MSNBC, NBC, CBS, ABC, and the rest are liberal media outlets that are against the President of the United States, Donald Trump, day in and day out, and for the Democrats day in and day out. That is the real Barack Obama, and let us not lose sight of that as he gets out on the virtual campaign trail, perhaps more and more, and campaigns for Joe Biden. I'm Jimmy Sengenberger. You are watching Jimmy at the Crossroads, here in partnership with the Washington Examiner.